Hey, this is Rick, and welcome to Spit Take. And I am here with my co-host Adam.
Hello.
And Stef.
Hello.
And I don't know what you guys thought of everything that has came out and happened the last couple days, especially with we had the Super Bowl, where the Kansas City Chiefs got walloped.
Thank God.
I think a lot of people were happy with that, except for Kansas City. And not Taylor Swift, who got booed at the Super Bowl. And then if you don't like rap and Kendrick Lamar, apparently you're racist. And a couple trailers came out. Fantastic Four looks like it's going to be. I know Steph said she didn't see it. Adam, I know me and Adam talked about it a little bit. Set in a retro 60s, so it's not even in the MCU universe. It's in the multiverse, and it. What I think was more of a accurate comic book accurate thing. It had I forget what her name is. It had a female Silver Surfer, which I guess makes sense for the multiverse. I know a lot of people are complaining about that, but it is a character that is in the comics. I forget her name, and a different. I don't know what was going on with that Galactus. Didn't look like a big Galactus going on there, but I thought it looked interesting. I don't know what they plan to do with this Fantastic Four quite yet, but it did look interesting with the retro look, the futuristic retro look. I guess it's during the space race of the 60s. Who's going to be first to the moon, and I guess the Fantastic Four are going to be first to the moon.
I thought the trailer looked good. It's interesting. They kept the characters very comic accurate, which I thought was nice. What they do with them, we'll see. I'm very curious about how they're going about this whole, retro 60s type vibe and everything, because and at a point, they have to do it in a multiverse that's not part of the MCU universe, because at this point, everybody would have known the Baxter Building. They would have known Mr. Fantastic, the Fantastic Four in general. But they've never been mentioned before in the movies and the shows, anything. So to bring...
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, to me, I was like, well, where are they going to do it the same like they did with Carol Danvers, Hank Pym, where they existed in the universe,
right?
But it wasn't really, really talked about. But then, here they are, and then we're just going to go back and then introduce them, and they were always a part of the history,
right? Yeah, I'm curious to how it's going to go. There's another part to it too, though. I think just with the MCU in general. So. Deadpool and Wolverine did kind of the same thing, right? Different universe, but yet, he uses the Cable's watch to cross over into Earth 616 to talk to Happy Hogan about joining the Avengers and stuff. So we know that Deadpool and Wolverine are not in the same universe. So eventually, and we know that the multiverses are going to start coming together for some of the bigger Avenger movies. And it allows them to kind of exist in their own place, but also to be used when they do the big stuff.
So there is a theory that there will be an anomaly that that female Silver Surfer will warn the Fantastic Four of, that they need, a certain energy or whatever, and that will be why the Fantastic Four, and that probably has to do with Galactus. Mm-hmm. And that's why the Fantastic Four go to 616.
Yeah.
to for help with that. Arrived before the blip in current day. People are in dust. Ben staying out of the public eye. Doom may appear in the end, offering Ben when he's help when he's at rock bottom. Galactus hunting Doctor Doom as he's escaping the world. Like there's a big theory about Galactus and how that how him destroying Earth, and that's why they have to go to 616 to save Earth and all that stuff.
Well, Reed Richards, as we know, is no stranger to messing with the multiverse. He's the reason that the zombie outbreak happens in Marvel Zombies.
Right.
He's dicking around in other universes. So, and he creates, God, what was it? It was I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was one of the prisons that they had. Because there was like the raft and the cube, and then there was one that he created that was in like a antimatter universe or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he created one of the prisons there.
Yeah, I did. I was watching the second season of What If. That was more focused on what's her name? Peggy, Captain Britain.
Oh yeah.
I started watching the third season. I guess I just stopped watching it. I got to go back and watch that though. Wasn't as good as the first season.
I only watched the first season.
The first season was so good.
It was very good.
I think the second season was kind of disappointing.
I have watched 0 seasons.
You should watch the first season.
The What Ifs
centered around Doctor Strange. It was very Doctor Strange-esque, and the ending was very crazy.
Yeah.
So the Fantastic Four movies, weren't they didn't do well, right?
I think they did.
Is that what
the first one did?
Yeah, the first one did. Rise of the Silver Surfer was probably not as well received.
I think a lot of people were disappointed with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind it because I had Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
But, I like I'm kind of like, it doesn't take much to please me. Ask my wife. But
wait, Chris Evans was in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Human Torch.
Yeah.
That's why if you watch the new Deadpool Daredevil or Deadpool Wolverine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they're like, have you watched that?
Yeah.
I watched a part of it. I didn't finish it. I think I fell asleep.
They were all excited and they're like, "Oh my god!" Then they thought it was going to be Captain America.
Yeah.
But it was Human Torch.
Yeah. Okay, I vaguely recall this
because if you watch it, it's all Fox characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to have that explained to me.
The original Fox Sabretooth in a couple weeks.
Yeah. It was a very good movie. I like the way they did it. Some of it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, as Adam can attest, when I watch these movies, I have a lot of questions because I don't know the backstory, which is probably why Adam doesn't watch them with me ever.
I gotta watch it again. The freaking Wolverine Deadpool fights where he's like nerd boner.
Yeah.
And the fight in the car. That was so good. There's so much blood everywhere.
Yeah, they had some like really good parts in that movie. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't really make sense in it, but it's okay because it's Deadpool.
But what's his name as Gambit? So good. And he's supposed to be back too.
I have a feeling they'll bring him back because that had to be a fan favorite that showed up in there. I don't think he could lead his own movie, but
I think he could.
I don't know if he could lead his own movie with that character, but I think that he could be a very good supporting character.
I'd watch it.
I did like seeing Wesley Snipes back as Blade.
Oh yeah,
that was
he was in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't get that part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Wesley Snipes was back as Blade. Jennifer Garner was back as Elektra.
Yeah. What's his name? Pyro. Pyro's back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sabretooth was back.
Sabretooth was back for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Toad was there.
A lot of those Marvel, X-Men, and the Fantastic, Human Torch and stuff like that was back.
Yeah. But I like seeing Blade, and I like his whole thing. There's only ever going to be one Blade.
Mm-hmm. Well, except for
was a dig at Disney.
Muhammad, what's his face is supposed to be Blade, which was announced like 8 years ago, and still hasn't happened.
They keep pushing it back, and then they're canceling it, and then they're bringing it back, or the directors quit. Like, they just don't know how to do it, which is a shame because Blade set the standard for rated R comic book movies forever. He set the standard because Blade was one of the greatest movies ever made, greatest comic book movies ever made for sure.
It is, and it was like, as far as modern day comic book movies go, it is the original.
Yeah, and it didn't rely too heavily on special effects.
Mm-hmm.
It was very simple, and they did it really well. They told a good story. I mean, that first scene, the iconic first scene of him walking into that vampire club and just massacring all those vampires, just unafraid, walking in there, ready to do battle. Like, it's such a badass scene.
I didn't know that was a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. But also, I remember you being like, "You got to watch this," and I did, and that scene brought me into it, and then I fell in love with Deacon Frost, right?
Deacon Frost, yeah.
Yeah, it was. They did such a good job with that movie, and that was Guillermo del Toro. I don't know for sure if he did the second and third movies too. They were not as good. Well, the second one wasn't bad. The third one was okay. But like the first one, he did such a great job. And I think that's what really cemented Guillermo del Toro for me as like a really good director. It was like where I first kind of recognized his work.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's done stuff before that. And since then, he's done quite a few really good movies. I want to watch. He's got I think a show on Netflix, Cabinet of Curiosities. And I want to watch that.
Really good. And I've watched it once. I need to watch it again. But it was, I think it was like, it was like in Spanish, Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, I heard that was good. I've never seen that one.
That was such a good movie. I was so enamored by it. It was a fantasy type of movie, which, I just, since Never Ending Story and stuff like that, I've always loved, Legend and, Dark Crystal and all that stuff. Labyrinth, I've always loved that. But he did Hellboy.
Yep.
So yeah, Guillermo del Toro is one of the greats, if you ask me. He did, like, before that, he did Mimic.
Oh, did he? I didn't know he did Mimic.
And that was like one of the first movies I seen a naked girl. So
yeah.
That's what sold you.
That's like, probably not one of the first, but
yeah,
that's probably why I watched it. Yeah. But like, it was a naked girl who like ate people's heads or something. I just remember like
I was very vicious.
A naked girl right before she killed somebody, turned into a monster and killed somebody.
It was a very vicious naked woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but yeah, his work is always excellent, and I know, like, I read a couple of the books he's written too, which were really good. They really go into like the supernatural stuff still. So I mean, yeah, he's fantastic. I hope they give him more work. I hope they give him some work in the MCU. That'd be cool. Actually, they had tapped him at one point to do Justice League Dark. But then they scrapped that project.
Good. He'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, he was supposed to do the Justice League Dark, and then they scrapped the whole project because he was originally tied to it, and he was writing the story and directing. And that was a shame that never got made. But I think we're going to see it with the new DCU. Because they've already got a Swamp Thing movie coming. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a Constantine movie.
He's got a Frankenstein coming up.
Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah.
He just did a Pinocchio one too, I think.
He did a Pinocchio. He's got he's doing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark 2. Which I did like the first one.
I didn't see the first one. I want to watch
the first one was pretty good. And which is great because it was, you know, the books were classic.
Yeah, I have the book in my nightstand next to my bed.
I don't know why those were in our grade school libraries because those pictures were frightening as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Give you nightmares.
I'm going to have to look this up now. I feel like I read it, but
You have.
You had to because you're my age because those were in like every classroom.
Yeah, I think you bought me the book.
Huh. Maybe.
It's like it's like right there with where the sidewalk ends. Like it's one of those books where it's like everybody had it in their schoolroom.
Yeah, I'll have to look up the pictures and see. I usually remember based off of like what the cover looks like.
I'm surprised they never made a movie for where the sidewalk ends.
I don't remember that.
That seems like you don't know that? That's like a book of poetry.
It was Roald Dahl, wasn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't that Roald Dahl?
Oh yeah, probably. That sounds familiar.
I wasn't very into poetry.
Shel Silverstein.
But that was just, yeah. But that was just a book that was in all classrooms. Like when you weren't doing class, you were looking at the books.
I was in advanced classes because I was very smart, so that might not have been in mine. I know it's weird.
I'm sure books were in your advanced class.
Like smart books.
What did you have? Freaking I don't know smart books. So I was gonna say something smart, but I don't. I'm not smart.
I don't know. But I was a big reader too. So like I would try to find like those really thick books to like keep me entertained.
The Sidewalk Ends is pretty thick.
Yeah, it's an anthology.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Miss of Avalon, that was my jam. I don't know how many times I read that.
I read very classic novels. Okay. I read Three Musketeers. I read Wizard of Oz. I read like those thick classic novels.
I read a lot of Tom Clancy. I really like the Tom Clancy books.
I think I read...
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, reading all the Tom Clancy books is what's made me sad, seeing all the Tom Clancy movies that come out, and they're just not up to par with what he wrote. And I know he always hated the movies that they made of his work.
Yeah, but isn't that the usual?
Yeah. Well, the last one that they did, Without Remorse, which is my favorite Tom Clancy book, they did it with Michael B. Jordan. It was on Amazon. It was an Amazon movie release, and it had potential from the trailer. And then when I got into it, it had nothing to do with what the book had, and it just pissed me off. And I was like, "This movie fucking sucks."
I don't remember that.
They have the new Witcher movie cartoon. They have like a Witcher animated movie. I
saw that,
and I was gonna watch it today, but I continued watching One Piece instead.
Yeah.
But I do want to watch it. Let me see what ratings it's getting.
I watched getting
3 stars on IMDb.
3 out of how many?
5.
Okay.
Let's check on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is getting 60%. So it's still fresh, or it's still red. It's not rotten. So I guess it's like okay.
Yeah. Which is rough because the first season of The Witcher was absolutely amazing. The second season was pretty good too. It just took 5 years to make.
But then it's starting to stink Henry Cavill up.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's saying it's getting bad.
Yeah.
And what's his name? It's taking over, and it's like, well, it's not the same.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. So, I know, I didn't even watch the 3rd season of The Witcher. It just I would say it was like one of those sneaky releases for a season, which usually tells me how good it is.
Let's see what the rating of season 3 of The Witcher is. It's actually 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.9 on IMDb. 50%, 4% by audiences, though.
Yeah.
So it's rotten by audiences.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it and at least catch up on that, because I did really like the first 2 seasons. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I think I just kind of like lost track of what was going on by the 3rd season.
Yeah, well, that was it. Was when they got to the 2nd season, it had been so long since the 1st season. Like Siri, like it's supposed to take place like right after the 1st season, but Siri's like 4 years older.
It's starting to become convoluted. Well, I guess in the new game series, it's supposed to be Siri.
Yeah. Yeah, the new Witcher game is supposed to be Siri.
Which I'm not upset about. I think Siri is a good character.
I read a lot of synopsis on that, and people were saying, like, if you ever read the books, like, the books are not about Geralt. It's about Ciri. So it was like a natural progression that she takes over as the Witcher.
Well, I mean, Geralt was a Witcher for 3 games.
Yeah, right. But the main story kind of more centers, I guess, more so on the book side. I never read the books,
well, I mean,
but I was
it's
hearing.
like, you know, it's okay to pass on the torch.
Yeah. So
I guess I think people are caught up in the idea of DEI and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I did just watch a movie that I don't recommend, but I want to bring it up so that people avoid it, because it drew me in for one reason, and it was because it was a buddy cop movie with Bill Murray and Adam Driver. It's called The Dead Don't Die. It came out in 2019. It had Danny Glover in it. It had Iggy Pop in it for a brief minute. It had actually quite a few big names. And I watched this movie Saturday afternoon while the kids were taking a nap, and the trailer makes it look like it's going to be funny. It's going to be a fun ride. The movie is just not good at all. It's like they were trying to do something but didn't know exactly what they wanted to do. At one point, they start doing some meta shit talking about reading the script of the movie, and I was like, this doesn't even fit in here with the rest of the movie. It was like somebody's trying to do something artsy but failed miserably. Like, there were no... I would love to say that there were any type of highlights in the movie, but there really aren't. Like, nothing about it was good. And like I said, the trailer drew me in, but it was not a good movie at all.
I think I did see that, and I think I didn't watch it because of the low reviews of it.
Yeah, save yourself the time.
Yeah, the reviews are terrible of it. And that's the flaw these days, is the reviews are so readily available.
Yeah.
Because it does look like it would be good. You're thinking Adam Driver, Bill Murray, what can go wrong? Yeah. But then at the same time, when's the last time you've seen Bill Murray? Yeah. And he is in movies. He's out there in movies too. Like, he's been in... Yeah. But, like, he's not in any blockbusters, you know?
Yeah, but Adam Driver, Bill Murray, like, the two of them against zombies, you would think would be kind of a fun movie. It was not.
Yeah. What would possess somebody, unless you're just gonna, I don't know how much money they're taking for that, but what would possess somebody to take that movie?
I think...
You think they thought it was going to be good?
So I think Bill Murray and the director had a history together, and they kind of got together to do that. I don't know if Adam Driver did. I think a lot of the people in the movie had some kind of relationship with the director. And from what I understand, he does some pretty good movies, so this one was just kind of a flop. What was that? Did you ever see, there was like a zombie movie that was like I would say it was like a first grade class or second grade class, like on a field trip, and the place turns out, I gotta figure out what it is. Josh Gad was in it, and he was hilarious. It was kind of a comedy. Oh, I'm gonna look this up. Skip me. Come back to me later.
Little Monsters?
Was that it? Maybe.
As I don't even know how to say her name. The woman from that. What's his? I can't think. I can never think this late. We are such good podcasters.
Little Monsters is probably. Yes, it was Little Monsters. I watched that movie. That movie was actually, for a zombie movie, that one was pretty good. It was pretty funny.
Ben Savage?
No, you're thinking that's the one from the 80s, which I think was also Little Monsters.
It's the looks like the woman from Us.
No, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to say her name wrong.
Yeah. So the movie itself is pretty funny. I think it didn't get very good reviews. I thought it was good. It's just about like this like kindergarten teacher who takes her kids on a field trip, and then people around there started turning into zombies. But Josh Gad is like this very like dickhead, like he was just a complete dick in the movie who like ran the place they were at for the field trip, and he's in this very flamboyant costume and everything, but he's just absolutely the worst. But everything he says is so funny. I love characters like that. I don't know. I recommend watching that one. That one's pretty funny.
Well, he's allowed to do stuff, I guess. He's allowed. He's allowed. What's on your mind, Steph?
I mean, I want to talk about, this revival that we have coming up of Buffy.
Well, I guess that's a good segue from zombies.
That is. Buffy fought zombies at some point. She turned her mom into a zombie.
She did.
Well, vampires are undead like zombies.
True, yeah. True. Super pumped about this. I am a huge Buffy fan and nerd, as if you've listened to any of our podcasts, we talk about. I think that it's going to be really good. I kind of looked a little bit into it, and I didn't read a whole lot because I didn't want to. The problem is I'm afraid I'm going to get my hopes up, and then what if it sucks? Because it's how are they going to do this?
Two things kind of stand out to me that makes me think it'll be good. Number one is Sarah Michelle Gellar signed back on board, and she hasn't done anything for a while. She's been a stay-at-home mom. So for her to come out of retirement I guess I shouldn't say retirement, but out of her, what do they call that? Her little furlough or whatever until she picked this up. For her to come out of that to come back and play this part that was so iconic in everybody's eyes, I feel like she was only going to do it if they were doing it the right way, first of all. Second part is they're doing it on Hulu, which means it's going to be 10 episodes. They're not going to run a 24-episode show. So they're going to put a lot of effort into the storytelling within those 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look back at what Buffy was, I mean, it was essentially, and I believe it was our cousin that pointed this out to us, the monsters in Buffy were basically the same thing as what the Power Rangers were fighting.
Yeah.
Their costumes
were nerds.
Just costumes were so cheesy and kind of lame, especially you look back on it. But for late 90s, it
was bad.
Yeah, but for a late 90s shows, it was all right.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, listen, the one-liners that she had, really, she was a coming of age story. There was nothing like it out there at that point. And every girl was like, dude, she's a badass. I want to be like that. And I think that's that was a big part of it. 'Cause you see all these superheroes, and most of the time they're men. And to have one that's a female really kind of helped. And I'm not a feminist, but that women empowerment, this bitch is out there fighting vampires. I mean, she's also banging them, but give or take here.
I like Buffy because it was interesting. It was a good story. It was, I like a good sci-fi that's going to tell a good story. That's all that matters to me.
And there was a ton of lore built into it too.
And lore, yeah. There was a lot of crazy cheesy stuff like, oh, we're a high school and we happen to be like built on the Hellmouth, and and like I think there's gonna be a lot of people that don't understand it because, like, okay, there's lesbians and then there's women that are very tough, and you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be that's gonna be complained about.
One of my one of my favorite stories from just the making of Buffy was when they did the episode where she drinks beer and her and like the guys she's drinking beer with all become like cave people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know the story behind that episode?
No.
So they used to get government grants for having episodes that had a very specific message in it. That was like an anti-drug, anti-alcohol, whatever. Right? So they made this episode basically to get that funding or whatever. But it was so bad, they never got it. Like, the episode was
Really?
they said it was one of the worst episodes ever made. And they were like, it was so stupid that they never even got the money for it because it was that bad at displaying the message.
But here's the thing. Buffy's a perfect example of, I don't give a shit if you're woke. If it's good, then it's good. You know what I mean? Like, that's what matters. You know, that's a difference between that and like Supergirl, where it's like, let's make this show about her lesbian sister and like have everything about that.
Yeah.
Also, I just found this out, just to segue real quick. I found out that her sister, the lesbian sister on Supergirl, is Janie from Not Another Teen Movie. Didn't know that.
I think we mentioned that.
Did we?
Yeah.
We may have. We've done a few of these now.
She was also in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh. Well, anyways, back to Buffy.
She was Grey's sister.
Yeah. I thought, I always loved the Buffy show, and I agree with you. I think it was a very good show for, like women empowerment type of thing. Because the guys in there are always kind of like the, I don't know if I want to call weaklings, but they were kind of the damsels at some point.
Yeah, she was always saving him. I mean, look at Xander. He was the fluff character. Like, he really didn't do much except add some comedic relief.
He was kind of like a nerd that like always like wanted to like be a part of things, but like sucked. And like he was like jealous of Angel, and stuff like that. I'm all about women's empowerment, especially being like a girl dad. I actually liked the live action Aladdin.
I liked it. I thought that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? Nathan Fillion. Pretty sure that Buffy was his big break too.
No, he was on. There was a show that he was on.
He might have been. He was probably in some other stuff before that, but I feel like Buffy was kind of his big break, and he was like pretty young during that.
You think? Yeah, maybe. I mean, none of these characters really went on to do a whole lot outside of like Allison Hannigan and David Boreanaz and Sarah Michelle Gellar, but like you don't.
Harriet the Spy in it?
Yeah.
She did Euro Trip.
Yeah, she was annoying. I hope they don't bring her back.
I don't think she does anything anymore.
No. They can bring back Spike, though. I was a big Spike fan.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. So one of the things we'll have to see is if they do use the comic books as continuity. So, because there was 2 additional seasons done in comic books that were canon after Buffy ended. And there was 2 or 3 seasons of Angel that were continued after that show ended too. So did Spike survive in Angel? Because you didn't watch Angel, but Spike was on Angel for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I mean, I know he died at the end of Buffy.
He comes back.
Oh. Well, shit. Then I would have started watching Angel I love Spike. I was a big Spike fan. Like, fuck Angel. Spike was where it's at.
I liked Angel. I still think Angel was the better show.
I mean, Spike was Billy Idol.
Yeah, he was. But he was funny, and he had that sex appeal. He was also in. What was he in? But he was.
Oh yeah, he was in another show.
Oh, it was a witch show. Witches of East End. He was in that. And I was like, oh my God, that's Spike, but obviously much older because it's been like 20 years or however long it's been. And I was like, whoa, he's still hot though. I don't care.
He also played a witch in Supernatural. Him and Charisma Carpenter.
Yep. He's got his type. But I'm curious,
in your favorite season.
Which one?
The Leviathan season.
Oh God. Yeah. So bad. I might just watch that since we're getting that snowstorm. Buffy or Supernatural for the 50th time.
Smallville too.
Yeah, he was in Smallville. Yeah. He was Brainiac, I think.
Yeah, that was right. That's right.
But are they okay? So, is it going to be like Buffy's daughter that they're doing the revival? Is that what?
So, the only thing I've really heard is I guess it's going to be Buffy mentoring a young Slayer. They didn't say whether it's her daughter or anything. They just said she's going to be mentoring a young Slayer.
I mean, if she's banging vampires all the time,
is she the best?
Who's she married? Did she marry that military guy? Who did she?
No,
she didn't marry anybody. She was with Spike at the end.
Yeah,
and they can't give you babies.
Well, in Twilight they could. So
yeah, but those aren't real vampires.
Nobody's talking about fucking Twilight. We're not here to talk about that.
Look at me.
Twilight fans don't even like Twilight. They're gonna have 2 Twilight people at Comic-Con, and my wife doesn't even care because it's not like Jake and Edward or whatever their names are.
Who is it?
Jake?
Yeah.
It's the dude that's that doctor in that show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like the dad in the show?
No. He's a doctor in some comedy show. Adam would know. Adam knows what I'm talking about because he watched it.
In St. Dennis?
No.
Which show? Scrubs?
Peter Fasinelli.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I don't think he's as known. Where is he at? Jackson Rathbone.
Oh, God. Wait, if you want some really funny, mindless stuff, there's like people like redo him from the Twilight movies, like on Instagram. Just type in like Jasper parody or whatever, and like, because in the entire Twilight series, it just looks like he's in pain and he's got this look where it's like, ugh. But like whoever redoes it, it's spot on and it's fantastic.
Never mind. I thought he was a doctor in a comedy show, and apparently it was Nurse Jackie.
Oh. Well, either way, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't like go out of my way to see them.
No, my wife said, eh. So I'm like, where are you going? You don't even care about any of this.
Even Robert Pattinson doesn't like Twilight.
No.
He's very outspoken about how much he dislikes the fact that he was in those movies. But he needed something to launch his career.
I mean, the movies weren't good.
Well, no.
Every time I watch them, I kind of hate myself a little bit more. It's in one of those self-loathing phases where I'm like, how much lower can I get? Let's put on Twilight.
I remember taking Jess to a midnight showing of, I don't know if it was the last one or what, and instantly falling asleep.
I mean, a werewolf falls in love with a baby.
Yeah.
I don't think I've really watched any of them. I think I have.
I've never watched any of them. I just know stuff about them.
I rewatched them recently, I think I sent it in our family group chat, and I was like, oh, I hate this so much, but I'm going to continue to watch it. And it was even worse rewatching it. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I read the books too. The books were better. I will say that. But like, they're still like watching like this man who's supposed to be this predator, and he's like, just look at me, look at this monster I am. And it's like, bro, you're just you're covered in glitter. It's not scary.
But you know who's going to be at Comic-Con that I should be less excited about, but I'm really excited about? Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh.
And he also voices Spectre in a new cartoon. And I'm going to have him sign up Spectre Funko. Anyways, back to Buffy. I don't know why. I've always loved La Bamba. That's why.
Now, Buffy is, I am very excited to see what they end up doing with her.
And by the way, I'm meeting Charisma Carpenter.
Yes, we know you're very excited about that.
Taking my shot.
I'd be very excited too.
Maybe she'll come back as a zombie. I can ask her if she's going to be there. She'll come back. Maybe she'll come back as a zombie.
I forgot. How did she die in Angel?
Oh, it's been so long. I probably can't tell you very much about Buffy right now. It's been like 20 years.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember because I know that she gave birth to some goddess or something. Like I remember that happening. And then she was like in a coma, and then I think she just died. I think they just died. I don't know. But so that was the sad part. So with Buffy, at least like most of the crew she started with comes out on the other side at the end of the show. For
Guess
Angel,
be there.
For Angel, all of the OG crew, none of them made it to the end.
Jonathan Frakes.
Oh, Breaker.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see who signs on and how they redo it. Like, are they going to bring back the witches and all the other ones? They have to do one musical episode at least, because that was my favorite.
I don't think they need to do another musical episode.
It was so good. Come on.
It was not that good.
It was so good. Spike's anthem.
It was not that good.
I loved it.
It was not
Agree to disagree. But what we could do is when it does come out.
Musical lover. What are you talking about?
Listen, don't get me wrong. I like musicals, okay? Big fan.
I know you do.
Yeah, they're good. Listen, just because you don't like them doesn't mean that nobody else can enjoy them.
Musicals.
Have you ever seen Sweeney Todd? Amazing.
No.
It is good. You would probably like it.
I don't watch that crap.
It's Tim Burton at his finest, I'll tell you that much.
No, I watch real musicals like Labyrinth.
It's not a musical, but okay.
Yes, it is.
Labyrinth is not a musical.
Labyrinth in concert a couple months ago. You remind me of the babe. What babe? Babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. Voodoo, you do. Remind me of the babe.
And listen, I am a big Labyrinth fan, but having 2 songs does not make it a musical.
No.
Pretty sure 2 songs makes it a musical.
Well, that's like Charlie. That's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder. Like, there's randomly songs in that movie. Like, the Oompa Loompas, I get their thing is kind of separate.
I think the problem is there's a lot of songs in it. There's just only like 1 or 2 memorable songs.
Right. The Cheer Up Charlie song. Who remembers that song? That song sucks. I forgot that was in the movie until I watched a CinemaSins video on it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that is in there, isn't it?
That's the thing. They are musicals. Now,
it's not really a musical.
It is.
There's a musical number in it.
Yeah, that's not a musical.
What makes a musical. In real life, you don't break out in musical. Okay, I kind of do, but
all the time.
Yeah,
I've heard it.
I mean, same. I dance around and I sing in my place when nobody's around. But
now, something that shouldn't be a musical, Joker 2, by the way.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Did not finish that movie. Once him and Lady Gaga broke out of the asylum and started singing and dancing, I was like, this is it. I'm done.
It wasn't even that was bad. The movie was bad. And like, what made it worse is I'm trying to watch it and it was bad. And these people come in, show up late, the whole theater's empty, but they decide to sit right down the row from me, and the dude is holding all this food, like buys everything, and he's just grabbing every wrapper as loud as he can be and chewing as loud as and slurping his drink and then singing along with the songs. And I'm like, do you know these songs? And laughing at the jokes. That's not even a joke. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? He's just laughing, and then he's turning and talking to his wife, and then laughing, and I'm like, that wasn't a joke, dude. And I got up and walked on the other side of the theater, and he still kept doing it and didn't get the hint. Sorry, I just went on a rant.
Well, it's like those movie theaters where it's like full on service with the waiters and everything, and they're in like stadium seating, so like you should be able to see over it and it shouldn't disrupt you. It always disrupts me. Like I say always, I've done it twice. And I'll be sitting there and I'm watching these servers come through and take orders and like during the movie, and it's like it's distracting to me, and maybe that's me and my own issues, but like it's the same thing. It's like those rappers. Like the minute you hear them unwrap, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, so when you go to those places that have servers coming around, you kind of just know you're going to be a little distracted by it. Like there's no way around.
I used to love that. What was that Hollywood Palms?
Yeah. Hollywood Palms.
I used to love that, but like, I'll just sneak in a burrito from Qdoba.
Yeah. Well, I remember going to see Attack of the Clones, and I saw that I think opening night. If it wasn't opening night, it was the opening weekend. But like I just remember sitting in the seats, and this was back obviously a while ago before they had the recliners and the nice seats. And like so, I'm in this tiny seat next to this guy who's extremely overweight, and like I can just hear him breathing the whole fucking movie. Like I just hear him like a true Star Wars fucking nerd that you would picture. And he's just sitting there breathing like that the whole time. And I was like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I'm not a movie theater person. Like, I liked it in COVID when it was very, like, you couldn't have a bunch of people. And so it was nice. We would go Tuesday movie night club, so it was cheap. And we would just buy up tickets and go, like, a group of us. But then, like, it was spaced out, so you didn't have a ton of people near you. It was fantastic. And then now that they pack everybody in again, it's like you can hear everything going on around you. And, like, Kim and I have this problem where we hate listening to people chew or drink or pretty much exist. So it's like, ugh.
Well, I don't go to see movies on opening weekend anymore because it's too crowded. I usually don't see it till like 2 or 3 weeks after it's out in theaters.
Yeah.
That's usually when we'll go. I think I did see Beetlejuice opening weekend, though.
Yeah, you went with Dad because you guys didn't invite me. It was actually quite rude, but which was probably better because I also did not think that movie was great.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
Beetlejuice?
Yeah, the second one.
You didn't think it was great?
No, they were like, it's so good, and I saw it on Plex, and I was like, this did not meet my expectations. There were just too many little storylines, and then they just like ended. There wasn't like really great closure. It was like, oh wait, we got to kill this person off now. How are we going to do this? Oh, we're going to just throw them out. Like the designs were great. I love that they stuck to the same kind of like 80s.
The whole point was for you to think that it was going one way and then it goes the other way.
It's called the Kansas City Shuffle.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The whole point was for you to go, oh, this is the bad guy, but then that wasn't the bad guy. This is the bad guy.
I knew that.
It was
a Netherworld adventure. That's what it was.
I knew that the young guy that was talking to what's her face, the daughter. I can't think of her name. Either way, I knew that he was the bad guy. I knew he was dead from the get-go. I was like, this motherfucker's dead, and he's gonna end up doing something fucking stupid. Called that. I was really upset that they killed off Bob.
Well, yeah, that was a very sad ending for Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
I don't know if you knew that Bob was going to be such a lovable character.
Yeah.
Everybody liked Bob.
Bob was great. Bob just was, a loyal,
You know
friend.
what? I loved him back in the day too.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about the second Beetlejuice movie was the evolution of the characters since the first one. Specifically, when you're talking about Beetlejuice. When you see Beetlejuice in the first movie, he's basically a car salesman trying to sell his service of bioexorcism. He's just being wild. He's talking fast. He's doing all these things. By the time you get to the second movie, he has his own business with a call center where he's accepting jobs, and the little shrunken head people are answering the phones for him. Like, he's got his own business going on. He doesn't have to sell so hard. Really, it's the story about an entrepreneur who becomes successful but didn't ever make time for love. Okay, that's what the story is.
I also had an issue with Lydia's dad. He was killed by being eaten by a shark, and he's walking around, but he doesn't have a head or a face. So how does he know where he's going?
He's a ghost.
Yeah, couldn't exactly have a head or a
ghost.
Face in that movie.
In the afterlife, you see him 4D. In real life, they had to do that because he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
Oh, I was unaware of that. But
he got in trouble for child pornography.
Yeah.
Fair, but it was just very confusing to me.
It was claymation, and then they did that,
and it's crazy.
So they had to like figure something out.
And it's crazy because he was in so many movies, like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Bueller.
Yeah.
Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate. Like, if you look through it, like, he was in just about everything.
Yeah. Then he just disappeared for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. Mostly having to do with pedophilia.
And he wasn't dead.
but Beetlejuice 2. I think I did not like they did such a great job with that Deo scene. And then they brought in this song that I did not recognize, and it just went on and on and on and on and on in the wedding scene. And I was like, please make this end.
It definitely wasn't as good as the first one. I still had fun with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's just what mattered to me. I wasn't blown away by it. I did have fun with this one Christian dude who was there was this one scene where people were laughing, and I didn't think it was funny. Where the guy he didn't say the dude, but he pulled a lever, and he went down into a sea of flames, and the whole theater laughed, but I didn't laugh because he went to hell. And that's not funny, folks. Going to hell isn't funny. And
what an idiot.
I'm like, that was hilarious, though. Even though that wasn't even a funny. I don't think anybody really laughed at that. But I think you're funny.
Oh, I laughed at it when Beetlejuice just says, "Later, fucker."
It's funny because he deserved to go to hell.
But that was one of those moments where it was just like, oh wait, we got to wrap this up, and that's how they do it.
And Beetlejuice just sent a guy to hell.
Yeah,
demonstrates his power.
Yeah, I also guess I didn't realize that Beetlejuice is actually a demon and not just a ghost.
He's exorcist. Bioexorcist.
Yeah. So yeah, he is a ghost because they give his backstory in there.
Yeah.
In that, film thing. So he was murdered.
Right.
And then he ended up in the afterlife, and then I don't know, maybe you become a demon over time. I have no idea, but I don't know how it works.
They don't really explain it too much.
No.
What is Bob? Is Bob a demon? Is he a ghost?
Yeah.
Why are there so many of them?
Well, didn't he get his head shrunk by the
by the voodoo. Yeah. I also don't think I know what a bioexorcist is.
It's like an exorcist,
people out of your house.
People.
Okay.
You got to say his name 3 times. He comes, and you can get people out of your house.
Yeah. But why bio? Is that like means like people?
Biological.
Biological people, yeah.
Okay. I guess I was confused.
It's okay. We're used to it.
I read books.
She was in the advanced classes. Don't worry. She read smart books.
A is
He didn't
for
read
apple.
what the sidewalk ends like us dumb kids.
Anyway.
Sidewalk ends in your grade?
Oh Lord, probably
Our
the short
sidewalk
bus.
just keeps going in squares.
Yeah, I kind of negated everything I said earlier with that comment. It's fair. That's fair. I just have to sometimes talk things out to understand it. Okay.
Sure.
Earlier, I was in my office working, and I'm like, I was trying to think. I was writing an email to a client, and I'm sitting there, and I'm staring at my friend Chris, and he's like, "You look like you're in pain. What's going on?" And I'm like, I don't know if I want to say it. And I like Googled it. Here was the problem. I couldn't remember the name of Soldier Field. And I was like, what is the Bears Stadium? I'm like, he's like, you literally look like you're in pain trying to think. I'm like, I was.
I do that sometimes when I'm tired.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. But yeah, I think we have like, back to the whole thing, we just went on a whole like supernatural style rant, which I knew was going to happen. Buffy coming out, fantastic, super pumped. I think we should do a watch party to see how it goes.
I don't know. All these reboots sometimes aren't good, so I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, because is Joss Whedon going to be involved? There's controversy.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think that's why Sarah Michelle Gellar was okay to sign on, was because he wasn't involved.
Yeah, I forget if there's some moments. I'm trying to remember what her name is. But yeah, I don't think that
the female writer. Well, yeah, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, if they bring what's her name from Supernatural,
Sarah Gamble.
Yeah, if they bring her in, it would be good.
What season? Is it the Leviathan season?
No, she didn't do that one, did she?
No, I don't think so.
Because whoever wrote that needs to never write again.
Liberals love me.
Well, that was the first season that they did without. No, I'm sorry. That was the second season they did without Eric Kripke.
Mm-hmm.
Because Eric Kripke wrote the show, and he started the whole thing.
Maybe they bring McGee in.
McGee would be good if they brought him in.
Yeah.
Trying to find the name of this woman so I could figure out. But yeah, no, Joss Whedon is not going to be involved in it because I know he obviously had issues with Ray Fisher from the Justice League movie, who accused him of being very racist. Chloe Zhao is the girl's name, the director's name. So yeah, but Joss Whedon had that, and then like all this other stuff started coming out. Like apparently he couldn't be alone in a room with Michelle Trachtenberg because he was creeping. When Sarah Michelle Gellar was asked about him and his behavior on set, she just declined to answer anything.
Yeah, I remember reading that. But then she came out after it was all said and done, and she like spoke out.
Yeah.
So weird. Holly weird.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be a shit show. There's not going to be an in-between where it's like, okay, this is all right.
Okay.
Like, why do these people get in? Like, why are these creative people? You see what I'm saying? Like, perverts.
I don't know. It's got to be a power thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's probably a power play, and it's probably like maybe they're kind of like somehow like not into reality, where they're like, I can get away with this, but this is their reality, you know?
Did you ever see The Dictator? They basically explain it in that.
It's been forever.
There's never been a time in my life as an adult where I'm like, oh, I'm going to try to get with this child.
No.
Right.
Or there's never been a time where I'm going to try to exert my power over this woman that doesn't want my attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I don't know what I do when I'm drunk, but.
Well, I've been around when you've been drunk and you've never tried to go after kids, so.
Yeah. There's men in those powerful positions, and I know this from experience, they think that just because they have money or stature that they can do whatever they want and say whatever they want and get away with it, and nobody's going to talk back to them because they've been built up at their jobs, and like everybody's afraid to lose their jobs or whatever the case may be. And so it's like, oh, how much can I get away with before this actually takes effect? And for a lot of people, it's a lot. A lot of these men do get away with it because people are afraid to say something, and then they meet me.
Just weird, because it just wouldn't feel right. Like,
well, that's because you're not an asshole.
To do something like that.
Yeah.
That didn't really want to.
Right.
It feels so icky.
It does.
That's because you're a good person.
It just seems like such a disgusting thing. It just feels like, to me, to even think about that, it just feels disgusting.
Yeah, it is, and it's messed up. And I'm not talking about the child aspect of it. I'm talking about
anybody,
adult
to do that
women.
to anybody.
Yeah,
right. But I'm touching on
to say do this and I'll give you a promotion.
Yeah,
that feels like an icky thing.
The quid pro quo, as we call it.
Yeah,
casting couch.
I'm very good at my HR
really want
stuff.
this, but hey, I'll give you something, or I'll give you benefits,
right.
I don't know. It doesn't feel, something about it just gives me the ick.
Yeah.
Well, but you also have to realize a lot of people didn't say anything. I mean, look at all these stories that are coming out now because people were getting away with it. But I think now that more people are speaking out, I think it still happens, but probably not as bad as it used to. But who knows what other stories haven't come out that we haven't heard from, the 70s, 80s with these directors or people in power. And it's probably this is probably not even bad. Like the stuff that people put up with way back when was probably way worse.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like if you ever get a chance, watch the movie Bombshell. Me and Sarah watched that one time, and it was pretty good. But that was all about the one with Roger Ailes from Fox News. Remember, his big scandal? Oh yeah, it was basically trading sexual favors for promotions and stuff at Fox News. It was a huge deal, really big deal. He was outed. I think Megyn Kelly outed him actually.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of people that he had done that to, and it was a huge thing. And they had told him to step down. He was the big wig at Fox. I think right under Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, and it was probably so common, and it is still common. I mean,
but to step in that world and look around and be like, "Oh, this is common. That's weird."
Right.
How do you not go "Oh, this is horrific"?
Well, and it's just like the Diddy parties. Remember, Diddy was he was getting blackmail on everybody, so nobody would ever say anything about what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is I do research all this stuff, but I guess it's the same thing as going to Afghanistan and seeing how they live and being wow, this is horrific,
Yeah.
And, I do research dark web and all this stuff and think, wow, this is the way I look at what normal is and the way other people look at what normal is some people, not to say I have lots of trauma. And, I guess the way I used to look at what life is as trauma was normal, But then, when you think of like Hollywood and like Diddy parties or maybe a war-torn country, that's normal to them, or like was at Hollywood or certain careers needed to do sexual favors or whatever, or to get to the top or to be relevant is normal. I think I heard one story. I think it was like Faith No More. They were talking about this woman. I don't know if I talked about this. Did I talk about this?
I don't think so.
She was giving
so.
head to everybody in the band of their band and Soundgarden's band. And he stopped her and he was like, "Why do you do this?" And she was like, "Because this is how I get everybody to pay attention to me." And he's like, "Okay." And then he continued having her doing it.
Yeah.
It was like weird because it's like, well, you still had her do it.
Yeah.
But this is like normal for you to like have damaged people do that to you,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird world out there. I much prefer to think of like the rock bands behind the scenes like it was in Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Where you have Alice Cooper talking about the Native American tribes of Wisconsin. Actually, it's pronounced Milwaukee. That's what I imagine actually happens.
Wayne Fest.
Yeah.
And it probably does more now because everyone's afraid.
They should be. That's a good thing. People should absolutely be afraid. There's still cocksuckers out there doing bullshit to people.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's still. I think the problem is there's desperate people out there. There's still people to do whatever they need to do to get attention.
Right. So it's not going to stop because you're right. There are those people that are damaged enough or have enough trauma where they're like, well, if this is how I can get attention, I'm going to continue to do this because I'm validating myself. So it's never going to stop.
Right.
But hopefully it gets lesser.
It's called OnlyFans.
Right.
You know how much money those people make?
Ridiculous.
If we're going by our conspiracy theories, the only reason P. Diddy got caught is because he pissed somebody off.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't get caught because the FBI decided one day, or just found out one day. They all knew about this.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He pissed somebody off and then it blew up and here we are. I still have to look in all that. I have been slacking a lot. Also don't have all the channels that you guys do, so I'm a little behind. And I have a really bad memory, so I forget the names of things. Yeah,
I think that's all deleted and not as prevalent now.
Yeah.
Harder to find, for a while it was all like easy to find, and I think it's all getting deleted and stuff now.
Yeah. Well, that's what the rich do is they hire the fixers and everything starts to disappear and gets pushed away. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, anything else before we
happier note?
Yeah, we need a happy note, guys. That was depressing. Went into a real spiral.
I did. Me and Sarah did start watching Glow. Finally, I know it's been out forever. Yeah, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Oh, I know. It's good to see Brie. What's her name's boobs?
Allison Brie. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of, I watched the Royal Rumble.
Did you see me?
I was looking for you. I was going to text you, but I don't know if you had your phone on you. I watched it. I missed the women's portion, but I watched it the next day because I was late. But I did love seeing, oh my God, Nikki Bella come out. Yeah.
Alexa
for
Bliss.
Me. You what?
Alexa Bliss came back. That's what everybody's excited.
I do.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Steve got really excited about that.
Yes. She's the only person. She's the only wrestler my daughter likes.
Yeah.
But I did get to meet like 100 wrestlers.
Yeah, it looked fun. It was intense. The one, oh my God, I can't remember who it was. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but when they had all the ladders coming out, and the one guy was like, I mean, they were just tossing each other onto the ladders. I was like, this dude just broke his neck.
Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Yeah, Kevin Owens took a big bump. He took a couple of big bumps. He took a backdrop.
Yeah.
On the ladder in the ring, but then he was gonna power bomb Cody Rhodes off the announce table onto the ladder, but Cody Rhodes picked him up and did an Alabama slam onto the ladder, and Cody Rhodes is bleeding all over the place. It was great.
Yes. I was like, this is intense.
That's who I'm wearing right now, KO.
Adam's like, what are you guys talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I met Jerry the King Lawler. He's the guy who wrestled Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
I met Badass Billy Gunn. He was one of Degeneration X.
Yep.
Road Dogg Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, New Age Outlaws. I met Rick Steiner. I met so if you know what's his name? Never mind, I'm not gonna. I met the Headbangers. I met Honky Tonk Man. I met $1 Million Man. I met John Moxley. I met Jake the Snake Roberts.
Should we go through who you didn't meet? Maybe that might be a shorter list.
Oh, there's a lot I didn't meet too, but I'm surprised Adam didn't get excited that I met Stingray.
No, I saw that. I didn't say anything about it, but yes, I saw that. I was very happy for you. He's in something coming up that I was excited about. I can't remember what it was. He was in something though. God, what was it? It's pretty. I want to say it was a franchise of some sort.
He's nice. He was nice as hell though.
Yeah,
he gave me a free autograph because I was a veteran. I just wanted a picture. He gave me a free autograph, and
yeah, I'm trying to remember what his name was. He's
a great actor too.
He is
Richard Jewell.
Yeah,
he's going to be in Fantastic Four.
Is he? Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
I don't know who he is in Fantastic Four. He's going to be in The Naked Gun.
That's what it was. He's going to be in The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liam Neeson.
Oh, shit. I didn't know there was going to be a new Naked Gun.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty excited about that. I love the Naked Gun series. I catch a clip on Facebook every now and then, and I just laugh my ass off. Like, Leslie Nielsen was just the man. His delivery was so perfect. And I think Liam Neeson can replicate that.
I'm going to have to watch Blackbirds. He's in this movie Blackbirds with Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
I guess it's a mini series on Apple TV. A fallen hero, a serial killer, and a dangerous bargain for redemption.
No idea.
Anyways, he was a pretty cool guy though.
Yeah.
He's 38 years old, man. Anyways, is that a good enough way to end it though?
I think that's a good way to end. Yeah.
I think that's a happy ending.
Is that fucking happy? Huh? And then I got fucking sick at the Royal Rumble.
It's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending for all of us.
Praise Jesus.
Yeah, so call us out of here.
Except for the guy that went to hell in Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, not a happy ending.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Spit Take Podcast. Make sure to check us out next week, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Level up, guys.